YouTube. We're out here at the goat pasture this evening. We just got done moving the herd to a new paddock. We had a little bit of a trail drive this time, and we'll probably show you a little of that footage, but thought I'd bring you in the pasture here where they've already been. So they just got done grazing right where we're at, and you can see like this is elbow bush, or tanglefoot is another name for it, and they've really hammered on it. You can even see on the ground cover here, we got this little weed right here. This used to be a croton. I think it's called one-seeded croton, and there's quite a few of these plants all right here where they stripped them clean. You can tell too, some of the grass in here, they've ate it down. Like this little bunch of grass right here, they've ate it down. They probably ate it more than what I would really like, but we are at the end of our growing season. Okay, so it's basically the 1st of October, and a lot of these plants are starting to slow down, shut down. They're not growing leaf anymore, really. So when in the end of your growing season, it's okay to hit your pastures a little harder. It's not the same thing as grazing it in the springtime during a time of fast growth when those plants are growing real rapidly. If you really graze those down real hard in the spring, that's harder on them. Whereas at the end of the growing season, when you're just before that dormant season, to grazing them off a little harder isn't as detrimental to that plant. So in this particular paddock we were in, with our setup, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with grazing a little harder, getting a little bit more grazing time out of it. This particular pasture we're in is a little harder to get to, so it just lines up for what we're doing. But probably tomorrow morning, I'll go out and check those goats in their new paddock. Maybe show you around some of the forage that they're eating on there. That's the paddock they're just put in right now. Hasn't been grazed in about a year, so you'll kind of see what that looks like. And yeah, so happy to take you along. Enjoy making these videos, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right, YouTube, we're over here at our new paddock, and standing here in front of a little thicket. Just want to show you some of the the forage here. You know, this has been a year's worth of rest basically in this paddock, and you see kind of, you know, it's pretty full. You know, there, you know, where these goats are going to be grazing. We've got plenty of you know, this live oak right here. Here in about a month or two, they're really going to be enjoying this type of feed. But you know, it's a thick stand. You know, we've got plenty of biomass here. Got a little bit of it's a little sumac plant you're looking at right there. You know, goats really like that. That's something that they'll really eat on. You know, last night when we moved those goats, I showed you that little bit of that one-seeded croton that they had ate off real good. And I was just over here a second ago and found some. That's not a real good example of it. I guess I won't be able to find it now. Oh, here it is. So you see that little broadleaf plant right there? That's one-seeded croton that hasn't been grazed yet. So all that stuff that was stripped off I showed you last night, this is what it looks like when it hasn't been eaten on. So just giving you guys an example of what we've got to work with. Pretty good forage stand here. So like I said, we got everybody moved over last night. Got our dog feeder moved this morning, and mineral feeders down over the hill there. And this particular paddock, we don't have any water in, so this one I have to haul water into. So it's not a fun chore, but it's not too bad. A bunch of goats in the fall, when they're starting to dry up, they're not lactating a whole lot. We got kind of cooler temperatures, so their water consumption for a goat this time of year is pretty low. But all you see there, I got a tote, one of those 275 300-gallon totes, plumbed up, some garden hoses and just some simple floats, 2 50-gallon tanks. I've got one other tote that'll go in the back of my pickup. I'll fill it, and then I just gravity feed this tote with a big 2-inch hose. That's the trick. If you're gonna do something like that, you got to use a big hose, big 2-inch hose. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy you some big hose and some big hose clamps and some little barb fittings, and you can drain one of those 300-gallon totes, I mean, in less than 5 minutes. So that's the only way to do that if you're going to go that route. So certainly not something I do regularly, but on some of these paddocks where it makes sense, I will use that from time to time. Or if we get a little dry in July and August and some of my water dries up on me in some different places, I'll use it then. So anyhow, that's all for this morning. Wanted to round out our move from last night and show you what we've got here in this new paddock. So thanks guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.